So I have saved all the data sets in this folder, okay, on my desktop. So I was talking about this data set, and this data set is part of the quiz for which you have to create, replicate and reproduce a course that we have used in this Shopper's Attitude dataset. You have to do the same for car dataset. So I'll show you how I have done segmentation for Shopper's Attitude dataset. But before that, you need to understand how to set the working directory, because here in this problem we are not taking the data set directly from web or from any URL, but we have to provide the path of our working directory. Okay, so first create one folder, name that folder. I have named it datasets, and now you have to go to your and save whatever datasets you have in this folder. All right, now you go to our studio. Okay, the first code is set scene. You see this dark, brown color. This shaded part is a block. So whatever is written under this block, in this block, you can run all the chunk by simply clicking this play button. Okay, what is set seed, what is install dot packages? To get any package, okay, and to use any package, you have to first install that packages. Okay, even if you do this and don't use this, even if you delete this and run this only, this will also work fine. It's only because I have been running this again and again, and then it creates error. That's why I have given this extension of repos. Okay, and what is setseed, I'll come on this later. But first thing is that we have to install whatever the required packages. Although even in this we will use different method, and we will not do using it gmodels, but for now you can install the packages, run both these codes by just clicking on this. It will give you some error or something like this, and that RStudio can restart R and all this. You can say yes, because whenever you are installing you will get such messages. Okay, and you have this red button here, which means that R is still working on this. Okay, so G models successfully unpacked and MD5 sums checked. Okay, so we have successfully installed this package. After installing the package, you have to load the package. Okay, there are two steps. First, you need to install the package so that it is in your system. And when you have to use this package, every time you use this package, you have to load the package. Okay, you don't have to install the package every time. It's just one thing, you have to do it once. But whenever you are using the package, you have to install this. Load the package, and you use this by using library function. So library, and you write the package name, and then you run this block. Okay, here you can see you have successfully loaded this package. Now you have to set your working directory. Okay, forget all these things, everything, just I'm removing this. So first write get wt. This will show you where is your current working directory located. Just select this and control enter, and this is showing me that my working directory is in this folder, week 2 market segmentation session handouts. But I want to make the folder which is datasets, which is on my desktop, as my working directory, because I have saved my dataset, this dataset, in that folder. So how can I set it? You go to session, set working directory, choose directory, and from here go to desktop. You select the folder. Yes, that folder. Here it is, datasets, and open. So you see set wd is dataset. Now your working directory is set to the folder that you wanted to set as your working directory. Now I have named this data. This is the name of the data, and I have named this data as seg_data. Okay, this is the name that I have given to this data set. Okay, this is the name of the file, the name of the dataset file, and this is the assignment operator. So this means that seg data means to read CSV file, which is this file. Okay, let me show you this file. This is shoppers attitude _ seg data _mk. So this is a CSV file, but even though there is CSV is not written here, whenever we have to retrieve the data set, we need to write .csv here. Okay, and we use read.csv. What read.csv does is it takes the CSV file and read it in a data frame format, in a table format. Okay, and I have named it as seg data. And how do you name it? By using this assignment operator, which is this less than and minus sign. Just using this, you assign a value that whenever I call seg data, I'll get this, this file. So select this line and control enter, and you will see this, it gets loaded in your environment. If you select this, you can actually view this data set. Okay, now you can run all the data exploratory functions. For example, head seg data, and then this will give you for 6 rows. Okay, for example, in this data set, I don't want this ID column. So what I'll do, I'll remove this first column. So you can do that by using these square brackets. So what I'm saying is, now I'm giving this command that seg_data should mean seg_data but -1, that is by remove first column. Okay, and when you run this code, you will see the difference. It has no ID column. You see, there is this ID column, but here there is no ID column. So by -1, you have removed your first column. Okay, next exploration function we used is structure. You can use a structure and put the name of your data set here, seg_data, and run this, and you'll get the structure. And the structure function tells you what is the structure. So all these variables, shopping is 1, budget, all these variables are integer. Age is numeric, gender is factor, that is categorical variables. It has 2 levels, male and female, and income is again numeric. Okay, so we have these 6 attitudinal statements. Okay, and these 6 attitudinal statements will be our segmenting variables. We will come on that. Whereas age, gender, income, all these are demographic variables. Okay, now we will run here hierarchical clustering analysis. But before running hierarchical clustering analysis, we have to prepare our data set. We need to check whether there are any missing values or not. So there is this is.na function. When you run this is.na on this seg data, control enter, and you will get all these false things. This means that there is no missing value. Okay, and if there is any missing value, then you can replace it with this code, that is replace missing values with na. So right now I'm blocking this by writing hashtag here. Okay, just a second. Okay, so as there are no missing values, so second code is not required. and even we have already checked whether there is any missing value, and we found there is no missing value, and we are not running the second code. Okay, now the first thing to do is that we have to scale the data set. Why do we need to scale the data set? See, as a rule of thumb, we have to always scale the data set whenever we are running any machine learning algorithm which uses Euclidean distance. And what is the reason of scaling the data set? See, we can have many variables, and you can calculate these variables on different scales. For example, you can calculate height or say weight in kgs and grams, but every variable has two things. One is magnitude and one is unit. Okay, so when we give any data to this algorithm, okay, say computing Euclidean distance or any machine learning algorithm which computes works on distances, they don't understand the unit of it. So for them 200 kg and 220 2 gram, they don't look at the units. So what we have to do is we have to rescale this data set. We have to put it in 0 to 1, either 0 to 1 bracket, so that the result is comparable. And also, so we have to first rescale scale the data set. You can go through the Quick Force page to check why we do this rescaling. Let me show you. Yes, you can go to this coding related issues, and where I have posted on why we need to rescale the data set. So in order to compute any Euclidean distance, okay, whenever machine learning algorithm, wherever we are using these Euclidean distances, there's this magnitude which plays an important role. For example, you can measure weight in 5 kgs or 5000 grams. Okay, but when you input this data in machine learning algorithms, they neglect the units and take only this magnitude. Okay, and so when we compute distances, the high magnitude will weigh in a lot more in the distance calculation than features with low magnitudes. So we have to bring all this into same level of magnitude. And how we do it? We do it using by scoring or z-scoring or scaling down. And this is very easy. What we have to do, we have to just use the scale function, and you will be able to scale the data set. You can go through this later. Let me go to that RMD file. Okay, so once you scale the data set, you will see these are the variables that we have scaled. Note, we have used only 1 to 6 variables because these are the attitude variables which we are using as segmenting variables. These are the variables which are also numeric. Okay, because in Euclidean distance calculation, there is this constraint that we can use only numeric data. And because we are using these segmenting variables to form cluster analysis, and we are using by hierarchical clustering analysis, and we are using Euclidean distance to measure to create that cluster, so we need not have to to rescale other variables. That's why we are using only these variables. First, because they are numeric, and second, because these are segmenting variables on which we have to run our cluster analysis, and we have to compute Euclidean distance only on these variables. So there is no need of scaling other variables. Okay, so we have selected only these 6 variables, first to 6. And comma means like this first half means if you select anything here, that means rows. You already know this. And after this comma, if you select anything, that means columns you are selecting. Okay, again I use this head function and to display first 6 rows of this matrix standard seg data. I have named it standard seg data. Earlier the name was seg data, I've named it standard seg data because I have scaled it. Okay, that is, I have subtracted mean and divided by standard deviation. You don't have to do it. It's very simple in R. You have to just use this scale function. Use a scale, open and close bracket, and put the data. This is the data, and what all columns you have to put, because you are not inputting any rows, so there's nothing here. And after comma, you are inputting, you know, whatever number of columns you have to input here. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, six columns. And then you use head function. By running this, you can get first 6 rows of all those columns. Okay, now we have scaled the data. What we have done till now, we have created a working directory, we read this data set, we ran some data exploratory function like head, which will give you first 6 rows. We checked what all are integers, what all are categorical or factors. We have done this, and we did some data preparation by scaling the data set. Okay, and next is we compute the Euclidean distance. Okay, this is also very easy. We use dist function, and we input 2 things here. We have to input our standardized data, that is standard seg data, you know, this data set which we have scaled, and you have to provide the method. Here we are using Euclidean distance to measure the distance, pairwise distance between 2 respondents, and you use dist function. Now you have to convert this distance into matrix, because for running H cluster, that hierarchical clustering, you need a matrix. Okay, so then you create this, convert this, you know, distance into matrix, and you name it as dist matrix. So dist matrix is that you have distance matrix, whatever you have named it as this object, and this object includes what? Distance, this distance as dot matrix. Okay, what you have done, you have converted this distance, this Euclidean distance, into matrix by using as dot matrix function, and you asked to print only first 5 rows and first 5 columns. Okay, and then you print this matrix, and then you will get this, you know, matrix of first 5 rows and first 5 columns. Basically it's like first 5 respondents, and you are checking the pairwise distance. This is something that I have already discussed in class. Next is to make it like more readable, you can round the numbers. Okay, you can round this matrix. I have used rounded it by, you know, 1 decimal point. If you do not want to round it by 1 decimal point, let's say, just 1 second, I need to run this. Wait a minute. Okay, so I haven't run this because this is not visible in environment. I need to run this first. Now it is here. Next is I'll run this, that is distance, and then I'll compute distance matrix, that is table of this distance, and I ask R only to give me first 5 rows and first 5 columns, and this is pairwise distance of second, second respondent and first respondent, third respondent, first respondent, and it will give you a one n by n matrix of whatever number of respondents are there. So if there are 160, so the matrix will be like 160 columns and 160 rows, but because it's going to be a very big matrix, I have only asked to show me only 1 to 5 rows and 1 to 5 column. Okay, so this is the distance matrix. Now I have rounded it by 1. So see that, because I have rounded it by 1, that's why I'm getting this. If I don't use any number and I just do this, I'll get simple, numbers. If I, without any decimal points, if I say comma 2, then I'll get decimal points 2. Okay, so that that was needed. We needed this distance, Euclidean distance, and we had to convert this Euclidean distance into distance matrix, because that is the input we need to put in our H class. Now what is a H class? H class is a hierarchical clustering method, and this is the function you have to use in order to conduct clustering in hierarchical clustering in R. So first we set seed. What is set seed? Set seed means that you are pinning it. Basically, if you don't set any seed, whatever the cluster name, for example, in this run, you get this as cluster 1, this second, and this third. But if you don't set seed, the next time you run this code, this first will become second cluster, second will become first cluster. So actually to pin those clusters, so that you get the same results every time, that is the first cluster comes as first cluster every time, you need to set seed to some random number. You can write 6, 7, 0, 7, 0, 5, whatever random number you want to enter here, you can do that. Next thing is that you provide, you run this hclust function, okay, and you have to give two things here. One is distance matrix, okay, this distance matrix, that distance, and the method. That is how you are going to, what kind of linkage you select, okay. And then you plot this. So here you go. You use distance and you use the method, and you have plotted this plot cluster. This will give you this cluster dendrogram. Then there is, if I want to see a 3 cluster solution, okay, in this only, what I can do is I can use this cut tree function and cut it as 3 cluster solution. I can give k equals to 3 and write 3 here, and I can cut and give it as a 3 cluster solution. And it will give us this red blocks, wherein each cluster is in one red block, okay, that border. Next we can run a table function, and table function, what it will do, and we can input H cluster here. H cluster is the same that we got from here. Just one second. H cluster this, H cluster is this cluster, wherein we have used, we have cut the tree at 3 cluster solution, okay. So we have used this H cluster, and we can input this H cluster, that is 3 cluster solution, and we can put it in this table function, and this table will give us the number of individuals in each cluster. So first cluster has 64 respondents, second cluster has 48, third respondent has 48. Next thing is that we have to interpret and profile each clusters, okay. How can we do that? We use hclust summary, that is the name I have given, and we have to aggregate. And aggregate how? I have to aggregate all the standard segmentation data, whatever the variables are, all these variables, standard segmentation data variable, that is all the attitudinal data set data I have, and I have to group it by the levels of this categorical variable. Basically I have to group all these variables by standard seg data, okay, by H cluster, sorry, I have to group standard segmentation data by H clusters. So, and I have to provide the data set, that is a standard segmentation data, and how am I calculating it? By mean, okay. So basically I am asking R to aggregate standard segmentation data by cluster, by the grouping of clusters, and I have to input the data, and I have to input the function, that is I want mean. Okay, and this is how I have done it. Now you can name these clusters also, you can name the factors, levels also, and then you can do this targeting. And how you do that targeting, um, you can leave this, you can run this code. This is another way of running cross tabs. So between gender and edge cluster, if I have to see whether there's any difference by age, by gender and cluster, I can run this, and I find that this chi-square test, the p-value is less than 0.05, and which means that it is significant. That means by male and female these clusters are different. Okay, so whether the clusters are identifiable by age, I used aggregate function here to check, what is the mean. And what I have done is this age, I have clubbed it by clusters, and I have asked R to give me mean. So this will give me cluster wise mean of this age variable. You can also do one thing, that is you can break this age. You can see this from structure that it has minimum and maximum, it has numeric variable, and then you can break this age and then you can name the levels. So here it is, this is how you create age breaks. 0, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Name it age breaks, and it will give you levels. There are like 3, 4, 5, 6 levels I have created. Okay, see this is always one level higher. The number of breaks are always one higher. Here you have like 6, but here you have 7. You have one label less than the number of breaks. Okay, you can also then rename this, and I have renamed this. And again when I print it, I'll get this. And instead of this detailed summary kind of thing, if I ask just for structure, I'll see that you can see that you have factor with 6 levels. You can then run crosstab of cluster and age, and you can run chi-square test on this table and then print this table. And if this chi-square is less than 0.05, which it is, that means these group cluster varies by age also. There's a significant difference. Okay. And similarly for visits, there is one more variable, that is visits, and we see that how what is the mean by visits. For cluster 1, the number of visits per month is very high, 4.8. For cluster 2 and 3 is low. And then you can have this variable income, which again you can aggregate and check the mean value by cluster. So you see that in cluster 1 this income variable is highest. Okay, before going to k-means, you can do k-means in a similar fashion. You will be able to understand k-means. Okay, I want to show you one thing, and that is the importance. So when you aggregate this and when you have to read these segments, you can see that in first cluster, which variable is highest? This one is highest, 1.023. Okay, it's high in first cluster and not in second and third. If you have to compare it by second and third, and this is already negative, this is also high, this is negative, negative, negative. So in cluster 1, shopping fun and combined shopping with eating, these are the 2 variables which are important for cluster 1. So cluster 1 The respondents feel that shopping is fun. They are loading high on this variable or in the on this statement, and on this second statement that they combine shopping with eating. Whereas cluster 2 loads high on budget and get best buys, okay, and also in comparing prices, these three, okay. And similarly cluster 3, it loads high on I don't care about shopping, 1.14, whereas in cluster 1 and 2 have like lower value. So you can rename these clusters based on this importance. For example, fun shoppers. Cluster 1 had, high loading, high mean value for shopping fun and combining shop and eating. So I have labeled them as fun shoppers. Whereas cluster 2 had like a higher mean value for shop as budget or for, just one second, for shop as budget and for get best buys and shop don't care for on these three basically economical price aspects. So I have named it as economical shoppers. And the third cluster is high only on this attitude that I don't care about shopping, and I have named them as apathetic shoppers. So you can go through my PPT and check it from there how I have profiled these clusters, and all other codes you can go through this RMD file, okay. And you should ensure that you identify what are your segmenting variables and you run cluster analysis only on those variables, whereas other variables you are using as profilers. So you are either converting them into categorical variables, running cross tabs by table function, running chi-square on that, or you are aggregating it. If it is a numeric variable by cluster wise, you are aggregating it, and then you are checking the mean, like what is the difference, whether there is any difference, and then you can interpret and check whether they are meaningful clusters or not. All right, so that was all. Thank you.